If there was a website that had a button on it to where every time that you pushed that button, you got one free Ethereum, how many times would you push that button? In fact, this seems to mimic how Tether works. Theoretically, they could just create more and more Tether tokens without actually needing to do anything extra. Welcome to Whiteboard Crypto, the #1 YouTube channel for crypto education, and here we explain topics of the cryptocurrency world using analogies, stories, and examples so that you can easily understand them. In this video, we are going to explain how Tether works, the problems that some people have found with it, and why it's currently the largest stablecoin by market cap. In fact, if you haven't watched our video on stablecoins yet, you should definitely check it out for an easy explanation on the technicals of how they work. Let's explain how Tether should work before we get into the issues of Tether and some other facts that we think you should know. Tether Limited is the company that created the Tether token. Their goal was to create an Ethereum token that is pegged to the US dollar. This way, the price of their token is always $1. Now, this is valuable for obvious reasons, but the most obvious is that my Ethereum portfolio is down 22% today, but it was up 12% just a few days ago. In other words, crypto is very volatile at the moment. However, many people do want to get into DeFi projects without the volatility. Anyways, in a perfect world, Tether Limited will give you one Tether token if you went to them and gave them a true dollar. They would hold this dollar forever, or at least until you came back and gave them your Tether token. When you came back with your Tether token, you could ask for your $1 bill back, and in a perfect world, they would pay it. Along with that, the Tether that you gave them, they would destroy it after giving you the dollar back. This way, the Tether they have given out is always equal to the United States dollars in their bank accounts. In other words, they are essentially giving you a blockchain version of that dollar while holding the real dollar in their bank account, so that whenever you wanted to, you could trade these two seemingly equal assets back and forth. Now, this is a perfect way to have a stablecoin, in theory. The token isn't mined, it's just created whenever Tether Limited wants to create more. And in fact, all they have to do is just say which accounts to give it to. The issue is, we don't know how much true cash Tether actually has in its reserves. Let me tell you a little story. Sometime in the 1930s, an event called a bank run happened. It's when a bunch of people went to the bank and said, "We want our dollars, give us our dollars." And the bank literally said, "We don't have enough to give everyone all their money." In short, a lot of people think that the same thing is happening with Tether. Now, you might be wondering, why is this a bad thing? Well, the only thing that makes a currency valuable, other than its intrinsic use, is its perceived value. Paper dollars, or cash, do not have much other value than maybe to use as fuel for a fire, or maybe even insulation. It is in fact the perceived value is what keeps them at $1 instead of $10 or $0. If we apply the same thinking to Tether, what's holding them up? Their perceived value. Because the inherent value of a blockchain token is not much. In fact, the inherent value should be that if you take that token to Tether Limited, they will give you $1. But the question is, can they actually do that if everyone asks for their dollars back? Moving on, what is FUD? When it comes to crypto, there is a lot of what we call FUD. Now, FUD is an acronym for fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which are actually very powerful emotions when it comes to investing and spending your money. FUD is commonly used as a simple way to manipulate markets. For example, you can quickly release an article that says, "Warren Buffett thinks dog poop is more valuable than Bitcoin," and then suddenly a bunch of headline readers will dump their Bitcoin because of the simple idea that Warren Buffett doesn't see that Bitcoin has any perceived value. In this video, we are going to make sure to try to stay away from FUD as much as possible and only give you the true facts. The big blazing issue with Tether is that its parent company, Tether Limited, can literally click a button and give themselves free Tether, to which they can trade it for other cryptocurrencies. Actually, do you think it's a button that they click, or do you think it's something else like they have to write code? You should let us know what you think in the comments, because we're interested to know what your guesses are. But moving on, what makes it a big blazing issue is that Tether's current market cap is around $60 billion. Do you think they have $60 billion in their bank account? A lot of people do not. See, Tether Limited is not in the United States, so that way the United States government cannot tell them what to do, or they can't force an audit. In fact, Tether Limited purposefully set themselves up in the British Virgin Islands. You should know the US Attorney General actually did a little bit of investigation, and then due to that investigation, you cannot buy Tether in New York. They said it's to protect their citizens. Now, according to their own reports on March 31st, Tether says they have only around 2.9% of their reserves in actual cash. 12.5 is literally literally loans, around 10% is corporate bonds and precious metals, and another 50% is literally commercial paper, which is technically more loans. A little bit more is treasury bills, and some of it is actually other cryptocurrency tokens. Now this is at least what they self-reported. Another issue is that Tether has hardly actually been audited. From the information that we could find about the Tether Limited audit, there has only actually been one professional audit, which was done by Friedman LLP. But Tether backed out of the audit because the company was asking too many questions. So an audit was started, but not finished. Now this is an issue for a lot of people, since any company who wants to last long term will usually go through an audit for the trust of their customers, no matter how invasive the questions might seem. In fact, most of the time, giving answers to invasive questions only goes to show that they're not doing anything sketchy. So why would Tether avoid this? There are actually a lot of rumors about Tether Limited and Bitfinex, which Bitfinex is a centralized exchange like Coinbase, and these rumors are that both of these companies are in cahoots together to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Now the rumors about both of these companies is a bit out of scope for this video, so if you'd like to see a video specifically on the romance of Tether and Bitfinex, plus any future audit updates, leave a comment below. Moving on, let's talk about a rumor that has been spreading in the past couple weeks. Since Tether is a token mostly on the Ethereum network, we can actually track exactly who holds most of it right now. Right now, large exchanges like Gemini and Binance actually hold a lot of Tether. Some big decentralized apps also use them, like Curve Finance and Aave. Now there is a theory out there that since Tether is so big, 60 billion market cap right now compared to Ethereum's 228 billion and Bitcoin's 614 billion actually makes Tether the third largest cryptocurrency. And this rumor is that since it's so big, if Tether crashes, it could bring down the rest of the crypto market. Now this isn't completely crazy, since a lot of the liquidity in certain decentralized exchanges actually uses Tether. To explain this theory, you must know how a liquidity pool works and how the automated market maker algorithm works, which sounds like a lot of nonsense if you're new to this crypto space, but we actually do a great job explaining both of these topics with stories and examples in our videos. The theory says that if Tether's price dumps or skyrockets, or basically becomes not $1, then those liquidity pools will be vulnerable to attack via flash loans. And these attacks could cause a big panic and could result in people cashing out their cryptocurrencies for fiat. If part of a liquidity pool changes in price dramatically, the other part of the pool also changes in price. And so many pools are actually reliant on the fact that Tether stays roughly $1. Now moving on, like we said earlier, we aim to be the #1 educational resource for crypto, and we believe that the technology surrounding blockchains will keep improving. With that in mind, what do you think Tether could do to better improve their product? Here at Whiteboard Crypto, we have a few ideas in mind. First is transparency. Since Tether is the third highest market cap cryptocurrency, transparency needs to be on the top of their list. One of the biggest foundations of blockchain is transparency. This includes in-depth audits and answering any questions that their customers might have. In fact, verifying their funds via a third party would clear up a ton of FUD and be a big step forward for them. Secondly, a big part of the idea of Tether is to allow a bridge back and forth from the crypto world to the real world. This way, you can transfer your USD for USDT. Now, we think they would greatly improve their product simply by allowing access to this bridge for everyone. Imagine if you could buy Tether online straight from Tether Limited without any restrictions or background checks or KYC. Then imagine if you could cash out your Tether without the IRS knocking or any waiting period. If Tether truly believes that they are the stablecoin bridge, they should work on this. The last thing is for them to actually hold most of their reserves in cash instead of using loans or gold or even stocks. It would make a lot of people happy if they saw 80% of Tether's reserves were actually truly cash in their bank account. And technically, it would make us happy too. So wrapping up, we want to know your thoughts. Are you afraid of the collapse of Tether leading to a crypto bear run similar to what happened to the banks in the 1930s? Do you have any ideas that we haven't mentioned that could improve Tether? Let us know in the comments below, along with any future video ideas you might have. In fact, we currently have like 100 video ideas, but we aim to get the important ones out